So last year, you might have seen this video right here. I did a thing called Shirtober, where I did a shirt a day in October, 31 designs in 31 days. In April of this year, I did Shirtober in April, where I did 30 designs in 30 days. I'm going to share with you in this video what I learned by doing that and some tips and tricks to help you do designs like I did. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Juno with Detour Shirts. In this video, we're going to talk about Shirtober in April. This is the design challenge that I did in April, just this last April 2023, on 30 designs in 30 days. A bunch of you followed along on my social media accounts like Instagram and Twitter and so on. So my plan for this video is to share with you a lot of different things about what I learned from doing that, as well as why I did this challenge. So first, the reason I did this challenge is to kind of do an exercise for you to create different designs. So the challenge for this month, as opposed to Shirtober, the original Shirtober, this one in April, I decided to make everything the same style. Whereas last time I was just doing any style, but this one I wanted to be more focused and to help you build a brand. So I did the same thing. I just made everything Kawaii style. Now your style may be different, but in this video I'm going to show you how I did some Kawaii style things. It's all going to be in Affinity Designer, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for that. So if you want to learn how to do some Kawaii style, this is the video for you. But before I get into the Kawaii style, I wanted to share with you how I got these prompts, these 30 different prompts. So let's get into TeePublic and I'll show you where I got them. So here we are on TeePublic. You can see this is my store and these are all the ones that I uploaded. So far they don't have any sales. I just barely uploaded all of them. So none of them have any sales except for this one right here. So one sold. So I'm going to track this. I'm going to do a video from a month from now to see if any of these sold. That's the hope, that we get some sales, right? Not just to put on designs. And the way I got the prompts is from this tag directory right here. So I talked about this before. This is a great way to find different prompts to draw. So if you're going to do this on your own and you're going to make 30 prompts, depending on what print on demand site you're going to use, I would get the prompts from that. So I really wanted to focus on TeePublic and kind of build my TeePublic designs, and so that's why I went here and I used some of these. You may have seen some of these on here. Some of these you can't use, of course, because they're copyright stuff, like don't do Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Don't do Breakfast Club, but there were some in here that you could do, and this changed from month to month. So some of these things that I did may not be in here now, but if you want to do it for your own, come in here, pick a bunch of these. Like llama is safe, right? So you could do a llama t-shirt, or let's see another one, graduate, of course, because people are graduating soon. So those are some big awards here, softball and so on, beach life. Those are some good ones. So come in here, make sure not to do something that's copyrighted, and make your 30 prompts, and you can do a 30 designs in 30 days if you don't like. But if you do want to follow along, I do have the 30-day prompts right here. It's a free download. You can see it right here. You don't even have to download it. You can take a screenshot right here and just use these 30 days. So these are the ones I did: basketball, 80s gym, and all of that. So if you haven't done the challenge, you can do this. If you want another challenge, if you've done this and want to do other words, then of course go to TeePublic, pick 30 more, and you can do that. So before going to Affinity Designer, I wanted to share with you my process on how I came up with each design. So first things first, I have a big notebook like this. Of course, orange is my color, my branded color. So I just got this off of Amazon, and you can get whatever size you want. This is just, I like this size just because it's a big 8.5 by 11 size, so you can draw. And then every day I just drew out stuff. So you can see here, day one, I'm not going to show you all of them, but day 2, day 3, I just brainstormed on what I was going to draw. And then eventually once I got the one that I want, after sketching out a bunch of them, brainstorming, then I would draw it on a piece of paper. So this is my last one here. You can see I drew that axolotl, and then I added more things on here. But then I took this and I scanned it. So this thing right here, this printer behind me, is also a scanner. I put it on there, scanned it, and then brought it into Affinity Designer and traced it. So we're going to go into Affinity Designer, and I'll show you some of my tips and tricks there that I did. to kind of help make everything consistent and everything kind of the same style. All right, so here we are in Affinity Designer 2. You can see this is the version 2, and everything is a vector. So I have multiple artboards here. You can see more than 30 artboards because I did a couple of them extra. This was an extra one, and so was this one right here. So I have 32 designs here, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for Kawaii art that really would make everything kind of consistent. Some of them may not look like they're part of the same thing, but I tried really hard to make them look like the same brand. And these are some tips and tricks to kind of keep it together. So let's zoom in here, first of all, so you can see it better. So one of the things that I tried to do is keep the same font. So you can see this one and this one is the same font. This one wasn't. I kind of played around with those, but you can see these are same. So the font that I used is called Valken. You can see right there, Valken. And so it's a nice round font, and I think it works perfectly for what I was doing, trying to make it more kawaii, rounded, those kinds of things, right? So tip 1, try to use the same font or a couple of the same fonts for all your designs if you're trying to make it a branded thing, right? So that really helps kind of keep it all together. The next thing I did was use the same eyes and mouth. So for Kawaii, there's lots of different ways to do it, but I did mine really simple. You can see just 2 circles, an oval here, and then a smile. Now if you Google Kawaii faces, you'll see all kinds of different ways to do it. Some of them have 2 circles in the eyes, some of them have lashes, some of them do different ways. So you can figure out your own way that you want to do your eyes, and once you have that kind of face, you can see I've used it everywhere. So here, you'll notice I kind of even used it here, but I changed the nose, right? Same eyes everywhere. So that's another thing to kind of keep it tied together. The other thing that's really helpful is to keep the same line weight. So let me see if, yeah, you can see right here, if I zoom in, this one right here, the size is 13. So is this 13. You see, in every one here, I kept it all the same weight, 13, and that kind of also gives it kind of the same consistency that you want. So that's really helpful. The next thing that I did was the different stars. So you can see a lot of times I use the same stars here, and that's really helpful. So these were different, but eventually I made a star that I used a lot, which was this one right here. And let me show you how you do that. So you can make stars in a lot of different ways, but I just use the star tool here, make it big like this, and instead of 5 I did 4. So you can just do that, and then you can manipulate these things right here. So you can grab that, you can grab this, right, and just play around with these things. So you can also play with it up here and just get a star that you kind of like. And once you do, you can start using it everywhere, and then you can also make it taller and skinnier, right? So once you find that you like that, see, I used it here, and kind of used it everywhere to kind of give it the same kind of feeling, right? So there you go. Now when you look at it, you can see that I've used it a lot, right? So one of the tricks to doing kawaii art is to keep it simple. So you can see not a lot going on in the face, right? It's just lines and curvy lines usually. So for example, when I did my Sasquatch or my Bigfoot here, you can see I did it very rounded. Instead of having the hair come out like this, I made it round, right? Again, to match the roundness of the fonts too. So everything's a little more rounded and bigger, right? So that's kind of kawaii, is cute and big and simple. So at least that's how I like to draw my kawaii stuff. So you can see right here. This one didn't have the eyes, but it still has the fonts and it has the stars, and it's still round and big and bold and simple, right? Same thing with the apple. You don't have to put in all the details, but you can just make it super simple. Like this orange, it's just a circle with leaves and a stem here. So really simple. Another thing that I did that you may have noticed is there's a white outline on a lot of them. So right here, or a different color outline. And the reason I put the outline is so that it can work on different color shirts. So if I didn't have the outline, so let me go to this one, which is really easy. I can go into layers and open it up. So here's the outline. If I take it off, so this one actually works, but you don't see the black line, right? So on a black one, you wouldn't see it, but if you turn the background to something else, then you see the black line. And then when you turn it on black, you don't see the black line, so it looks different on different color shirts. So the reason I put the white outline is it will look the same on all the shirts with a white outline, and it will work on all the different colors, whether your color is black or your color is that color or your color is white. It still works. Well, it doesn't work with the letters, but you get the idea. So if it was like that, it still would work, right? So that's one trick that I do, is I try and put a white outline, especially for the ones that are going to be on dark t-shirts. Now when it's not a dark t-shirt and when it's a light t-shirt, I'll show you what I do. So this one right here, and it's good to make these dark and light versions. So I'm going to change my text here and my stars. And we're going to make this all black. Whoops. Right, and so now if this was on a white shirt, I don't need that white outline, so I can come in here and turn that white outline off right there. And so now when it's on like a lighter t-shirt, you can see the white outline isn't there. So now I have a black or a dark t-shirt version right here and a light t-shirt version. Whoops, I forgot to turn these to black. Really simple with Affinity Designer. It's so nice to have it in vector so that you can easily switch it out, right? One last thing that I did this on some of them, and that is shadows. So you can see on this one, there's some shadows, and that just helps it kind of pop a little bit. So there's some highlights right here on the top and some shadows on the bottom. And that's real easy to do by just clicking and drawing a different shape and putting it in the back. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna put a shadow here at the bottom of this French fry. So let me show you how I do it. So just come in here with the pen tool, and let's say I want a shadow that comes like this, and I'm just freehanding it here, like that, up and about. And I want this a little darker color than the other one. So I'm gonna come in here, use my eyedropper, select this color, but we don't want the stroke, so I'm gonna turn that off. And now that I have this color, I'm gonna make it just a little bit darker for the shadow. I usually like going, adding like about 20 K on it, 20 black there. And then I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna hit Command X, click on here, and then do Command V. And you're gonna see it goes right in front of it, but in back of the black line that I did, since there's two things. And then I can change it. If I don't like how it is, I can make it over like that, right? So there you go. So there's a shadow. I would do the same thing with a highlight. So if I wanted highlights, I would do it up here because the light's coming from up top. The highlights would be on the top, the shadows would be on the bottom, and I can do a lighter version of this color. So I would do the same thing and just kind of pull it back a little bit. So that's how I would do it. I don't need it on this one, but there you go. So this is a good exercise to do. I would love to do it every month, but because of time, it takes so much time to do it, and I need more time to do other things to like upload and stuff like that. But I'm gonna do this again in October, and so you can do this whenever you want. This is a good exercise. Pick 30 prompts. You can use mine, or you can do whatever prompts you want. Usually something pertaining to evergreen stuff, or you could do things that are going to pertain to trends that are coming up in 2 months or whatever. So you can use that strategy as well. So just try and build your brand by making everything the same style. Now you don't have to do Kawaii style. You can find your own style. So the reason why I want to do this is when you have your own store, let's say you want to make your own Shopify store and people come there, they'll see what kind of style you have. And same thing with going on to your stores on TeePublic and Redbubble, when you build, some of the biggest brands there have the same style. So let me show you what I mean. So I'll go to TeePublic right now and I'll show you some of my favorite brands there, and you'll see how they have all kind of the same style. So here we are on TeePublic. I wanted to show you what a branded store looks like. Now, you may not have your brand right now, you may not have your style right now, but I'm going to show you what you can work up to if you don't have one. So let's go here, featured designer, right? I'm going to click on here, and you can see this person is a featured designer because look at their stuff. It looks all like the same kind of style, right? The drawing style with the lines here. Their cats kind of look the same, the way they draw it, right? All kind of the same style. Now they have different cats and different things, but it kind of all works together, right, in the same style. So let me show you another one. Here's one, different style, totally different style. So this is Nina Nil, and look at her style, different than the other one, but you can see the way she draws here is kind of all the same together. She does these insects, and they all have that kind of color. They're cute. They're still kind of kawaii, but they're different kawaii than my kawaii stuff, right? So you can see, pretty cool. All kind of the same style. I'm sure she's been doing it for a while. She's a good illustrator and just looks great. So here's another one, Illustrata. Look at this. All kind of the same style, more Japanese kind of thing. You can see that, very detailed. You know, kind of looks like a comic book cover, some of them. So they got all kind of the same kind of style, right? Pretty cool. And lastly, Stephen Rhodes. You can see here, again, different style, vintage style, kind of that old vintage illustration art, right? He has his own style. So this is really important if you're going to build your brand, is to make it, you know, kind of the same style. Of course, you don't have to get it right away, but eventually I think this is what a lot of us should be working towards. If you want to build a brand, have your own store on Shopify, or be in stores, or have your things licensed, is people who are looking for that kind of stuff, or buyers are looking for a kind of cohesive brand look, right? So work up to this, have fun with this. This is an exercise for you to kind of build your brand and get to find your style if you don't have one already. So that is it for this video. My hope is that you can learn some of these tips and tricks to create your own style and build your own brand, and eventually maybe make your own store or get your stuff licensed, whatever you want to do. I think this is a great way to kind of practice on your art skills, is to do a 30-day challenge or a monthly challenge like I did. Now, you don't have to do that every month, but I think this is a great exercise if you want to stretch yourself and learn a new style, or grow your style, or, you know, maybe even try something new. So if you haven't seen the first Shirtober video, I'm going to put it right here so you can see some tips and tricks that I learned there when I did it back in October. Thanks again for watching, and as always guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.